All right, Module 3, Topic B exam. It's not very long. It's 9 questions.
9 questions?
Yep, 6 multiple choice, and 3 free response. Let's go over what you need to know and some examples of what you need to do. Sorry, my brain just took a nap. Here we go. First thing you need to do is solve exponential equations. Okay? That is Lección 7. For example, solve this equation that has some variables and exponents. The first thing that I'm going to want to do, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to write this as 1 over 3 cubed to the negative 2x. I saw the 27, right? And I said right away, hey, that's 3 times 3 times 3. Right? And then I think to myself, hey, well, if 27 is 3 cubed, I wonder if 243 is the power of 3. And then I started pushing buttons in my handy-dandy calculator, and my calculator said, it's 3 to the 5th power. And I was like, thank you, calculator. And I was like, you're really awesome, Mr. Charming. I'm glad we're friends. It said that to me.
I can hit baseball.
All right. So I'm going to call this 1 over 3 to the negative 6x. And then I'm going to call this 3 to the, remember, I got to distribute that 5. So that's going to be 10x minus 20.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. Where you go? She asked nicely with the police word. Police? It's a polite police word. If you're polite, you say police.
So I'm going to write that as 3 to the 6th power equals 3 to the 10x minus 20 power. And now that we have the same bases, and all of our exponents have been simplified as far as we can, let's go ahead and drop those out, like the next step after taking online classes.
Great.
All right, so now I need to solve this. So I subtract 10x from both sides, and I get negative 4x equals negative 20. And then I divide both sides by negative 4, and I get that x is equal to 5. And we're good. Moving on. Next one. Hey, you're going to have to condense a logarithm of lesson 12. Or is that lesson 13? Lesson 12 or 13. Same one of them. Oh. So 12.
Okay.
So the first thing I need to do is I need to put my exponents inside. So that becomes log base 4 of m squared plus log base 4 of n to the 1/2 power. Nextly, Nextly Twix, bro, okay? Nestle? You want a Nestle? Can you tell your chick hey, can we Nestle? That's a correct answer. That's a great answer. If you want to be extra fancy, you could write that as a radical, right?
Radical.
And then you can close your parentheses so you're not syntactically incorrect. Huh? All right. Hey, let's expand the logarithm. Let's expand the logarithm, cause expanding them is so cool. Let's expand the logarithm, I just want it to be cool. Alright, we're going to use the property that tells us that if I have a log of a quotient, I can write that as the difference of two logs. Okay. And now, I'm going to pull the 5 out. And I'm going to write this minus sign out in front so that we don't forget. That negative sign distributes. So then my last step is going to be yes. 12 and 12. Yes? Ugh. Yes. Yes. Perfect. You got to remember those properties of logarithms that are at the end of lesson 12 and lesson 13. Actually, the ones that are at the end of lesson 13 are better. They're more comprehensive and they're better organized. Yes?
On the last step,
Because I have to distribute this negative sign. This negative sign is for this whole thing. That's why I said what's in the parentheses here is what's behind the negative sign there, right? And that negative sign has to distribute.
so it's like if you're getting sun.
All right. Hey, you're also going to have to solve logarithmic equations. They're going to be in two forms. The first form is going to be the form we have log base b of x equals L. If that's what happens, right, where you have a log on one side and a number on the other side. And your trick that is, when you get it like that, is to write it as an exponential equation, right? Those two things are the same. Log base b of x equals L is the same thing as saying b to the L power is equal to x. Nope, you need to know. Even the regular algebra stuff. And then the other form is if you have two logs, right? Log with the one base on one side of your equal sign and a log with the same base on the other side of your equal sign. In which case, your trick is to get one log and one log, and then just drop out the log. They just drop out like that. Boy, your mom doesn't want me to do. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one of each type. Let's do the first type where I have log equal to a number, okay? So first thing I need to do is condense my logarithms. And when I am condensing my logarithms, the first thing I need to do is I need to take coefficients and put them back inside as an exponent. So that's all I'm going to do with that particular step. Now I'm going to write it as a product. It's kind of weird that I wrote it like that. I should write it as 4x. And now it is in the form one logarithm equals a number. Yeah? Which means that it's time for me to write it as an exponential equation. So this is log base 10, right? Since there's no number there, if there's number there, it must be log base 10. So I'll write that as 10 squared equals 4x squared. 10 squared is 100. Okay, divide both sides by 4 and you get 25. Is x squared. Then I take the square root of both sides, which means that I have plus or minus the square root of 25 is equal to x. The square root of 25 is 5. So I get that x is equal to plus or minus 5, which means that I have two solutions, x equals 5 and x equals negative 5. But I gotta check it, don't I? Check it, roll. Okay. If I put 5 in here, we're good, right? So 5 checks. But if I put negative 5 in here, SpaghettiOs, I'm dividing, or I have the log of a negative number, right? And we can never have the log of a negative number or 0, which means that this is out. We'll call it extraneous. And there you go. Alright, let's do one where we have no numbers, right? We just have a bunch of logarithms. So I'm going to get log on one side and a log on the other side. Sounds like we're building a bridge. That movie's sad. Why are you trying to ruin our day? Movies where kids die, like My Girl. Why would you watch that? Those are good. Alright, here we go. First thing I want to do is I want a log on one side and a log on the other side. So that means I need to condense these two. So this is going to be x minus 2 over x, right? If I condense these two. Alright, now that I have a log of something and a log of something, I get to just drop these out. Alright, we're just going to drop it out like someone said something creepy in the video.
What are these? Gotta slide in the DMs.
I am so sorry, I made a mistake. My bad. Sorry. I didn't drop it out, right? Okay. Now let's solve this. I really hate when there is a variable in my denominator, so what do? I multiply both sides by that thing, which means those are going to cancel, and I get x minus 2 equals 5. All right, now I'll go ahead and add 2 to both sides. So I'll subtract 5. Sorry, I'm writing with my left hand, it's messing me up. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I get negative 2 equals 4x. All right, divide both sides by 4, and you get that x is equal to negative 2/4, which is the same thing as x being negative 1/2. All right, we're going to have to check that, aren't we? We'll go back up and check it. If I put 1/2 in here, we're already done, because I have log of negative 1/2, which doesn't work, and it doesn't work in here either, right? Log of negative 1/2. So, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. So that means that there is no solution to this. Next thing you're going to have to do is evaluate logarithms. A lot less than 8. And we were just learning about logarithms, and we're doing that what power thing, right? So, sorry, I skipped a step in there. Okay. We need to say 3 to what power is 1 over 243. And at first you're like, I don't know, something. But if you write it as log base 3 of 1 over 3 to the 5th, it starts to make a little more sense, right? And then if you change that and you write it as log base 3 of 3 to the negative 5th, it makes a whole bunch more sense, because you're saying, hey, 3 to what power is negative 5? It seems like the answer is too easy, but it's negative 5. Some people had a hard time dealing with that, so I said, you know what? Let's take it back a step. Why did I say that? For the same reason that we would say, what is log base 5 of 25, right? What's on the other side of this equal sign is, you're saying 5 to what power is 25? So the answer is 2. Okay, if that's true, then what is natural log of e to the 5th power? Remember, the natural log is log base e, right? So what we're really saying is e to what power is e to the 5th?
Oh, I wasn't saying mine too.
Yeah, you got it, dude. And that concludes our review. That's everything you need to know for this test tomorrow. Yes.